What's going on, guys? Welcome to the UFC 287 Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya 2 post-fight live. If you haven't joined me for the last 6 hours, I did an entire UFC 287 watch along. If you go watch that, you can go watch it on the channel. It was 6 hours and 20 minutes, actually. You can see all my reactions live to the fights. I'm going to start doing those more often, probably for every pay-per-view. I did almost every fight on the card. If you do go watch it, do me a favor, comment timestamps on there. I got to get better at that. I got to find a good system to do that. But here we are for the UFC 287 post-fight. This is going to be my reaction to all the results, my analysis. I'm going to probably do a video solely on the main event. But basically what I do in these live streams, I talk about the fights, the notable fights for roughly 30 to 45 minutes. And then for the last half of the stream, I answer all the questions in the chat. So if you guys have questions, I'll let you know when I get close to the end. I'm probably going to talk, I don't know, all the way up to like Chris Curtis, Kelvin, Gastelum. We'll see. Tomorrow's Easter. Happy Easter, by the way. If you celebrate Easter, happy Easter. But there'll probably be some videos coming out tomorrow regarding UFC 287 as well. And yeah, I guess that's it. I'm going to get to questions later in the stream. I'm a little bit late because I stayed at my watch along for a little bit after the fact. And now I'm here though. And we're going to break down all these fights before I get into anything, okay? Before I get into anything, because I cannot wait to get into everything. Like the stream, run up the likes on the stream, share the stream, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We are fighting and clawing and punching our way to 10K. So I would greatly appreciate if you guys could help it by liking the stream. And here we go. So I'm going to get to the comments later in the stream. I will get to them. I promise I will get to them. Starting off with the main event. Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya 2. Adesanya is your new middleweight champion. He wins via second round KO. Brutal KO. Absolutely nasty. Starched him out cold. Crazy combination. Sent him to the shadow realm. Israel Adesanya exacts his revenge. And I don't want to gloat too much in this post-fight, but I'm just so happy about the legendary prediction that I now have on this channel. Going into this fight, I said Pereira will be overconfident. He will be over-aggressive. He will look for the finish earlier. And Adesanya will sleep him. And I picked second round KO for Israel Adesanya. And that is essentially exactly what happened. But let's break down the fight until that point. We'll talk about the finish in a second. Let's break down the fight until that point. First round. Very good first round. I was liking what I was seeing from Izzy in the first round, minus absorbing quite a few leg kicks. He was landing good shots on the feet. He was being more aggressive. When Pereira would be aggressive, Izzy would start changing the angle and moving laterally and doing a good job of it. And he wasn't really letting himself get backed up too much. He was pumping the jab. He was landing stuff to the body. But Pereira was just smashing those legs. And Adesanya, I think, maybe checked one or two of them and switching stances. And some of them he lifted up the leg to kind of minimize the impact. But in that first round, Pereira was landing some good leg kicks. And this was a round that I thought was very close. I thought Adesanya was winning more earlier in the round. And then Pereira, maybe like the last minute and a half, it seemed like he turned it on. He was chopping the legs. And I thought maybe Pereira stole it at the end. But then I was thinking about it on stream. I'm like, that's a 50-50 round. And I think I was giving more recency bias to the leg kicks that landed in the last minute and a half rather than the good work that I think Adesanya did earlier in the first round. He was more aggressive. He was landing better shots. He wasn't getting backed up against the cage. Both guys very tentative for like the first minute and a half. Absolutely zero grappling in this fight, by the way. But ultimately, I thought it was a 50-50 round. I don't have a problem if you gave it to Pereira. But, you know, looking back on it, I think Adesanya took that round. I literally typed down in my notes 50-50, but maybe Pereira steals it with the leg kicks is what I typed down. Izzy was landing some body kicks in that round. I think he was landing some jabs to the body. And then the second round. We have the second round. The second round I actually rewatched while I was on stream. The second round seemed worse live. Like, I thought, okay, Pereira was definitely going to win that round. And maybe he was on his way to win that round. But the first 4 minutes of that round, Adesanya won that round. First 4 minutes of the second round, okay? The finish happened. Let's see where the finish happened. 4 minutes and 21 seconds of the second round. So Adesanya was landing big shots on the feet. Nothing crazy. It wasn't rocking Pereira, but he was pumping the jab, coming behind it with the right hand. He was landing good body kicks, landing good punches to the body. And Pereira would have moments where he would kind of lull and back up, and Izzy would pressure him and land good shots. And then it seemed like he would make a conscious effort, like a switch would flip, and then he would start pressuring forward, and that's when he would have some success. Well, towards the last minute, I think it was under a minute, Pereira really started to turn it on. And he started to chop the legs. And Adesanya was getting big reactions out of Adesanya. He landed a good leg kick. Adesanya kind of circled out, landed another leg kick. Adesanya's leg kind of buckled a little bit. And then Adesanya backed up against the cage. And I've seen Adesanya do this multiple times. I can't remember if it was also in the second round or if it was in the first round, where he would back up against the cage, but he would pull that super high guard. That super high guard. And Pereira, seeing that little bit of Adesanya, he just saw that little bit of weakness there. He saw that leg starting to get battered, and he started to swarm him. And he pumped the jab, he hit the guard, he ripped the right hand to the body, actually landed the right hand to the body. And then I think he threw a left hand that hit the guard. And I might have the sequence a little bit out of order. I mean, I just watched it. Threw a knee that maybe partially landed, but it didn't land full force in the guard. Adesanya brings down the guard, smacks him with the right hand right behind the ear, hurts him badly, hits him with another right hand, clips him with a left on the way down. Absolutely out cold Ben Askren, Jorge Masvidal style. And then just boom, brutal ground and pound shot on Alex Pereira's lifeless body. One other thing I did want to mention about the second round that I did forget. In the beginning of the second round, Pereira landed like a partial head kick where it kind of smacked him with the toes. It wasn't super eventful. And Pereira rushed in and started kind of swarming him there. But, yeah, I mean, Adesanya wins this. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, the momentum was starting to go Pereira's way. And I will say, in the last minute of the second round, you know, it only lasted 40 seconds. The last minute, you only got 40 seconds of that because you got a brutal KO. It did seem like the tide was starting to go in Pereira's favor because of the leg kicks, because of the reaction with the kicks. But at the end of the day, Pereira got over-aggressive and got brutally slept. And this was a fight where you had a guy in Pereira, regardless of what you feel about those fights. You have the kickboxing matchups. You have the UFC 281 MMA fight where Pereira wins and takes the belt off Izzy. You have people with the narrative 3-0 Pereira. 3-0 Pereira. This is all I was hearing in the lead up to this fight. All I was hearing. And I told you guys, and I said it multiple times, and I said it in my prediction videos as well. Pereira's going to come in with the highest confidence level ever. And I know there were some comparisons that people made to this fight and Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards. But the problem with that was, I felt in Kamaru Usman's case, he came in overconfident against Leon. Even though he got slapped, he's like, I won the entire fight. Where I felt like the fights between Adesanya and Pereira were competitive, but Pereira's like, you know what? I stopped him twice before. The first fight in kickboxing, that's bullshit. That's a robbery win. Adesanya clearly won the fight. But I thought Pereira was going to come in too aggressive. I thought he was going to look to finish him earlier, so maybe he didn't have to face any adversity. And I thought that Adesanya, and I said this in the video, and I got shit for this. I said Pereira is the perfect style matchup for Adesanya to beat because Pereira is successful when he's pressuring. If you put him on the back foot, he doesn't have anywhere near the amount of success. Adesanya did that greatly. He put him on the back foot in this fight. But when Pereira was moving forward, Adesanya ended up making him pay. Adesanya is one of the best counter strikers we've ever seen in the UFC. And you can't just run forward against a guy who's shelling up against the cage, who's one of the best counter strikers ever, who's rocked you brutally twice in the past, and expect to get away with it. Adesanya showed up well. I don't know why I said it like that. And boy, did he make Pereira pay for it. And the weight cut has to catch up to you eventually. Pereira's cutting way more weight than Adesanya. People keep saying Adesanya doesn't have power. I'm not going to pull it up right now. Adesanya's finished like 15 out of his 23 wins, 16 out of his 23 wins, something along those lines, maybe even more. But it's something crazy. There's a high percentage of Adesanya's fights that he has won via KO, TKO. He's rocked Pereira. He would have finished him. It was that right hand that rocked Pereira, the right hand at the ear, was very similar to the end of the first round at UFC 281. And it was a similar shot. And Adesanya was looking very good in this fight. Pereira's leg kicks were his one real bright spot. He didn't really land a whole lot else. He landed some good jabs to the body. There's probably other things that I missed. I'm going to do a whole other video on this when I rewatch the fight in detail and really dissect it. But Adesanya, I mean, he rose to the occasion. Elite level counter striker. And you can't come in overconfident. Pereira had to slowly dissect Adesanya if he wanted to win and look for his opening. Because if you get too overconfident with a guy like Adesanya, who is the elite of the elite, and I will say this again, I got a lot of shit for this. Adesanya's the better striker. People are going to eat me up for that one. Someone's going to be in the comments tomorrow. I believe that Adesanya is the better striker. Period. And I think it showed in this fight. Pereira has great kickboxing, and I think they're very close in striking skill level. People acted going in this fight as if Pereira was just worlds better. I think that proved tonight. With the right adjustments, with Adesanya pressing Pereira backwards, with Adesanya lateral movement, with his good lateral movement and circling away from that left hand, I think he shows he's just got more tools. He's a little bit craftier. He's a little bit better defensively, I believe, as well. Pereira just relies on a lot of his, pressure and size and power, where people are so worried about his power that they kind of, shell up a little bit too much and are worried about throwing. So then in turn, he outstrikes them. Go watch Pereira versus Bruno Silva. Okay, Bruno Silva landed some good shots on Pereira. And I know the part of it was the threat of the grappling. Adesanya would absolutely spank Bruno Silva. And we're going to get to something in a minute. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in a second, which I'm going to have something that's going to absolutely make the Izzy's haters' heads explode in a little bit in this stream. But we'll save that for later. This fight was tremendous. This had a big fight feel. It wouldn't shock me if this fight somehow does over 1 million buys. That's how big I think this fight is. I think this fight had everything you could possibly imagine. Two elite level guys. An amazing backstory. You have two guys who have 3 previous kickboxing matchups against each other. And you have the highest stakes on the line. I've talked about it for months on end since this was announced. And Adesanya went out there and reclaimed his belt. And he didn't make it look easy by any means. But he won. And I think a lot of people are going to try to spin this. I have not seen any takes on this fight yet. Outside of what I've seen in the chat. I believe people are going to spin this fight and say, Alex Pereira was dominating him and he was getting ready to finish Adesanya, and Adesanya pulled one out of the bag. I don't believe that to be true. I believe that is completely disconnected from reality. This was a close competitive matchup where Adesanya won the first round, very close first round. Adesanya won the first 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes of the second round. Started to lose for about 20 seconds, 30 seconds maybe in the second round. And then slept Pereira. And people can say, oh, he was getting ready to, finish Alex. He was getting ready to finish Izzy. Doesn't matter. We heard, and I talked about this so many times. We heard in the lead up to this fight. Well, Pereira was winning the first round if he didn't get rocked at the end there. You can't just subtract moments from fights to fit your narrative, okay? Guess what? Adesanya won that second round. He was winning before the finish. Not the 30 seconds before, but he won the vast majority of that round before. But it was close. And then he got finished anyway. You can't subtract that moment. From the fight And it was an incredible finish. The fight finishing sequence to put Pereira out in the capacity he did, I don't know if Alex Pereira will ever be the same again. That's how nasty it was. The follow-up shot was hellacious. Was absolutely hellacious. And Izzy gets it done. He gets his belt back. It was unbelievable. It was crazy. It was nasty. It was filthy. I don't know how many more words I can say about that finish. I don't believe Pereira will be the same man. I don't believe he will be the same man. And that brings me into the next subject, because I believe I'm going to get a lot of questions about this. Should there be a trilogy here? Let me answer the question based off what I think will happen and then what I want to happen, okay? Do I believe there will be a trilogy next? Absolutely not. I think there's a very slim chance that there is a trilogy next. Adesanya slept him out cold. On all three judges' scorecards, he took round 1. He was winning round 4 outside of the leg kicks. It was a competitive fight, don't get me wrong. People are going to say, well, Pereira was up 3-1. Pereira's up 3-1 now. First off, the first one was a robbery, okay? Second one, he KO'd him, fair play. Third one, TKO, fair play. 2 of those were 6 and 7 years ago. Throw them out, they don't matter. They do not matter. Throw the kickboxing fights away. Stop bringing them up. They're irrelevant. Then you go, well, UFC 281, he finished him, and he gave Adesanya a rematch. That's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. The reason Adesanya got this rematch is because he was a long reigning middleweight champion who was up in the fight, who was going to win on the scorecards, and got finished. And it was an early stoppage as well. I don't have a problem with the stoppage. It was just a bit early, okay? I think it would end up getting finished anyway. Let that be clear. That is the reason Adesanya got an immediate rematch. That is why he got an immediate rematch. Alex Pereira, and I love Alex Pereira. I like Alex Pereira quite a bit. He's a fun fighter to watch. He's got crazy KO power. He's elite of the elite in terms of striking ability. He got gifted a title shot, okay? He got gifted a title shot. Izzy was right in what he said. He said, look, I cut the path for him. All he had to do was come here and get a couple wins. The UFC gave him the easiest possible path to a title. They looked at the top 10. They say, who is least likely to grapple? They said, okay, Sean Strickland. Let's book Pereira versus Strickland. Pereira gets the KO. But that doesn't take away the fact that Pereira still got a nasty win over Adesanya at UFC 281. But the fact remains, he never defended the belt. And I don't believe with that KO, what is he going to have a quick turnaround? Israel Adesanya, people hate on him constantly. One thing I absolutely love about Israel Adesanya, activity. Activity. He may not be the most exciting champion in every fight. The activity of Israel Adesanya can be unquestioned. Dude has so many fights in the last few years, so many title defenses. He never backs away from a challenge. And I just think Pereira, what's he going to have? He's going to be out for the rest of the year. There's no way he's returning quickly from that brutal KO where his brains basically got smashed. I thought he might be dead. I literally thought he might have been dead. That's how brutally he was KO'd, okay? So he's not returning anytime soon. And I don't think Alex necessarily deserves a title shot. I wouldn't mind it. I would not mind it. I don't believe it's going to happen. If they decide to book it, okay, that's fine. That's a fun fight. But we're going to get to the other scenario here in a second. We'll get to that scenario in a second. But if they book it, I wouldn't cry about it. But I think a lot of people are going to say, is he scared of Alex? Alex is up 3-1. If they book that fight tomorrow, I'm picking Alex. I'm picking Izzy again by KO. Okay? I'm picking Izzy again by KO. The weight cut is massive. The chin has now been compromised. The doubt has crept into his mind. I don't believe he's going to be the same fighter. You want him to turn around in 5 months and fight Izzy again? Is that what you want? Because then you're just cutting the career, the MMA career of Alex Pereira short. So that's not going to happen. And what I think ultimately should happen, okay? Now, I don't know what's going to happen with Pereira. He said after this he's never fighting Izzy again. He doesn't think he's going to ever fight Izzy again. They may never fight again. It may never happen again. Izzy said it best. Whoever laughs loudest or laughs best, He is right. It doesn't matter how many fights you lose if you win the last one. You know what I mean? If you get into a fight with a dude in your neighborhood, he whoops your ass 5 times, but you beat his ass the last time and you never fight again, guess what? You won. You won the war. And I just think Pereira's not going to want that fight. Maybe he will. Maybe he will. Maybe the competitor in him, he will. I don't think he's going to want that fight. I definitely don't think he's going to want to be active. And Izzy really didn't take a lot of damage in this fight outside of the leg kicks. Maybe his leg will be damaged. His leg was damaged last fight. He took a quick turnaround, basically. What, 5 months? 5 months. A lot of these guys sit out for a year before fighting each other again. And I think Izzy will fight again this year. The optimal scenario for me, I believe Pereira may go up to 205 because I just don't, how long can he make that weight cut? I think if he won this fight, he was going up to 205. But if he does stick around at middleweight, what I would like to see, because I wouldn't mind seeing Adesanya Pereira 3. I wouldn't mind it, okay? I gotta turn my phone. My phone keeps going off like crazy and it's distracting me. I wouldn't mind it, but here's the ideal scenario for me. Book Israel Adesanya versus Khamzat Chimaev. If you can, in the meantime, give Khamzat Chimaev a fight. Book him against someone that he's most likely going to win. Dricus du Plessis, cough, cough. Maybe, I know Khamzat said he's probably not fighting until October. Hopefully before then. But, I mean, if we have to wait, we have to wait. Give him a fight that he can win. Dricus du Plessis, cough, cough. He wins a fight in the middleweight division. We get Khamzat versus Adesanya. One of the biggest fights in the middleweight division. Meanwhile, give Alex Pereira a winnable fight in the middleweight division. You know, depending on Khamzat, who he fights, if it's Paulo Costa, which has been rumored, book Pereira against Dricus du Plessis. And I think if Pereira wins that fight, you take Pereira and you take the winner of Adesanya versus Khamzat, you book them for next year. And we get the trilogy maybe May, April of next year. And I think that makes the most sense. That is my ideal scenario. I'm probably going to make a video about this whole topic and probably just break down the main event in a solo video. So it might be a little bit redundant if you watch it. But I think that makes the most sense. So just to recap that. Book Adesanya versus Khamzat. Let Khamzat get a win against someone in middleweight first. Book that for the end of this year. Book Pereira versus someone else late this year, early next year. If they both win, rematch them spring of next year. I think that makes the most sense. I got to take a drink. I'm so thirsty. But I think that makes the most sense. And I think ultimately, if you're one of these fans, and I know there's going to be some of them, I'm going to ask you guys in the chat later. Matter of fact, let me know right now, yes or no. Let me know yes or no. Do you want to see Izzy versus Pereira 3 immediately? Yes or no? Immediately. Nothing in between. I want to know. I'm looking at the chat right now. Because if you want Pereira to get a trilogy fight in MMA immediately, you are signing his, to use Israel Adesanya's term, death note. It is not going to end well. It's not going to end well. It looks like resounding no's in the chat. It looks like resounding no's in the chat. Because you're signing his death note. You really are. It doesn't make sense. It shouldn't happen. It's bad for Pereira's career. And I want to see Pereira hang around for a while, whether it's at 205 or whether it's here. Yeah, I haven't seen anyone say yes. He who laughs last loud. He who laughs last laughs loudest doesn't really apply here. Yes, it does. It does apply here, but it doesn't matter. We'll talk about that later. There's not a single person in this chat right now. Maybe I have sensible subscribers. Maybe I don't. It seems like I do. There's nobody that wants to see that trilogy. Because it's going to be the end of Pereira's career. His chin has been compromised. Izzy took him out brutally in brutal fashion. And I don't think a trilogy fight with another weight cut anytime in the near future is going to be good. He's going to have to, you know, make some adjustments. He's going to have to put some distance in between this. The other thing I want to mention, is if you're one of these people, and I know it's coming, I haven't seen it yet. The new narrative is going to be Adesanya's on roids. I already know that. Dude, he almost finished him in the last fight. People weren't saying that because he lost. But I think the middleweight division is one of those divisions where there isn't a lot going on, but if Hamzat can get a win, I think Hamzat should get the title shot. But I think in the meantime, Adesanya can take a little bit of time off. He can rejoice in this win, and people can continue to make up those narratives and say he's on roids again. He's on the roids again. But right now, I know I've been one to complain about undeserved title shots, and that's why I want Hamzat to get a win. But right now, the middleweight division is not talent full of contenders. Are you going to do Whitaker 3? I don't think so. You can do Marvin Vettori 3? Hell no. I'd rather die than watch that. Dracus du Plessis. Do you know what Adesanya would do to Dracus du Plessis? Oh my God. He would dirt him so fast. It wouldn't even be funny. It wouldn't even be funny. Okay, before we move on to the co-main event, do me a favor, guys. Run up the likes on the stream. I would greatly appreciate if you run up the likes on the stream and double check right this very second and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Okay, moving on to the co-main event. And we're going to have more videos in the coming days about this, UFC 287 card. But moving on to the co-main event. Gilbert Darino Burns versus Jorge Gamebred Masvidal. Gilbert Burns gets it done via decision. That's my exact prediction as well. And as far as, look, I didn't do great on full card picks tonight. I went 7-5, but I did get screwed a bit. And we'll get to it. We'll go through some of these fights in a little bit. Maybe I'll just zoom through every fight. But Burns versus Masvidal. First round, I guess you could call it close. I would say it was competitive. I wouldn't say it was close. Masvidal was landing a couple low kicks, couple calf kicks. Gilbert wasn't super aggressive in the first round. Burns landed a couple big shots, I think, towards the end of the round. Kind of snapped his head back a little bit. Got a takedown to end the round. Land some hammer fist. I think Gilbert Burns took the first round. It was close. I could kind of understand you giving it to Masvidal, but I don't think he should have got it. I think Gilbert, in the last minute, really sealed it because he landed a couple big punches. I think it was a right hand that snapped Masvidal's head back. Then he got the takedown, and then with the 5 seconds with the takedown, he landed some good hammer fist. I think it was a clean 10-9 for Gilbert Burns. Second round, Burns picked him up and dropped him on his head. Bit of an exaggeration. He picked him up and slammed him, dominated him in the grappling, was in full guard. Masvidal was closing his guard. Burns was landing some good shots. Nothing crazy. The ref was complaining. Mark Goddard, I believe. I don't know what the hell he was doing. But, Burns clearly dominated the second round. Masvidal, tried to get up against the cage. He kind of drug himself through the cage. Got up to the cage. Granby rolled. Burns was just floating very well. And Burns just controlled him for the majority of the round. I think he might have got up in the last 5 seconds. I can't exactly remember at the end of the round. But it was just a dominant grappling round. Then it was a clear 10-9 for Burns. Then you get to the third round. Gilbert Burns was lighting Jorge Masvidal up on the feet badly. And before I even talk about the third round anymore, Joe Rogan, towards the end of the third round, said that it was a close round. This was a close third round. Can we have a moment of silence? What the hell is he smoking? Crack? The third round was the most dominant round of the entire fight. Gilbert Burns rocked him multiple times. Let me know if you even heard that, because I couldn't believe it. I mentioned it on stream. I could not believe what I heard. But Gilbert rocked him with right hands multiple times, swarmed him, hurt him, took him down, beat him up at the end of the round, was just smashing him towards the end of the round, landed some decent shots there. And honestly, I wouldn't do it, but how they got more lenient with giving 10-8s, you could give a 10-8 third round to Gilbert Burns. And Rogan literally said it was a close third round. Fire him immediately. But, as far as my analysis for this fight, this is exactly what I expected. Masvidal does not care about the fight game anymore. He's too worried about politics. He retired in his post-fight speech. All he did was talk about politics the entire time. Dude would not fight Gilbert Burns in January because he said, he was worried about some elections or some shit. He's been checked out for a while. He got famous off of brutally KOing Ben Askren. He let it go to his head. And I'm sad because Masvidal is a guy that's been around for a while. He just didn't have it. I mean, Burns was smashing him on the feet. The only round that was even competitive was the first round, and Masvidal didn't really do much. He has fallen off a cliff over the last 3 years, okay? And I was a big Masvidal believer. I even thought back when Jorge fought back when Jorge fought Maia, if he were to get by Maia, he would have got a title shot at that point in time, most likely. I would have picked Masvidal to beat Woodley. I would have picked him to beat Woodley. I know that sounds crazy. I would have picked him. Masvidal, especially when they showed the replay of his physique around the Ben Askren fight, dude has fallen off a cliff. And maybe it's age is probably definitely a factor in it. I just think he's checked out of the game. He's worried about Colby. He's worried about sucker punching dudes at steakhouses. He's worried about politics. And if you're getting in the cage with other grown men who are training every single day to rip your head off, it's probably not good when you're worried about everything else underneath the sun. And, you know, Masvidal has a lot of money. He became a star after that win over Ben Askren. And I just don't think he had the will to fight anymore. The striking looks so slow. So slow. I mean, he landed a couple jabs. He landed a couple body kicks. He landed some good leg kicks. That was his most successful tool of the whole fight. But the Masvidal I saw tonight was a shell of himself compared to what I saw way back in 2019 when I was there live for UFC 244. And I know, okay, that's 4 years ago, but time waits for no man. Age gets everyone. He's 38 years old, going on 39. He retires. It's actually really sad for me because it's nostalgia. The fact that I've seen so many guys, the UFC just looks so vastly different from when I became a fan. It's sad to see, but thank God he did. Thank God he did, because Burns absolutely dominated him, and it was horrible. If you picked Jorge Masvidal in this fight, you should be embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. One of my worst picks ever, and I stand by my analysis. I picked Masvidal over Colby. And I said Masvidal will get the finish in the first 2 rounds. If he doesn't, he will lose a decision. And I was dead wrong, okay? Dead wrong. Horrible pick. Masvidal has fallen off a cliff. He is done for. I'm happy that he retired, but let me just say this. I don't believe he was retired. He will box, whether it's a game-bred boxing, whether it's some bullshit YouTube boxing, whether it's, I don't even know what. It will be a Masvidal combat sports competition of some sort. You will see him back. He will be desperate for that check. Even if he has plenty of money, he's going to want more. And Burns showed him where he belonged. And let me just say this before I move on to the next fight. Ariel Helwani, shame on you. Dude was campaigning for that version of Jorge to get a title shot. And I know he said with a win, but imagine if Jorge got like a fluky KO in the 3rd round. You want to see that guy fight Leon Edwards? Leon Edwards would do Jorge Masvidal at this point in his career so badly. It would be an embarrassment. Masvidal's striking looks slow. His technical ability has fallen off a cliff. His takedown defense isn't as what it once was. And it was never spectacular. His cardio isn't there. He was exhausted at the end of the 3rd round. Leon would have brutalized him badly. And Ariel Helwani was campaigning for that. Disgusting, disturbing, and thank God that crisis was averted. Now, Gilbert Burns, savage, willing to fight anyone. He's probably one fight away from being in title contention. I know he's saying, I'm not fighting anyone but somebody up top, Leon, Colby, whoever. It's not happening, Gilbert, all right? You're on a 2-fight win streak. Pump the brakes. One of them was Neil Magny in his hairline, okay? I love you, Gilbert. And I think you should be rewarded for being such a savage. But pump the brakes. Fight Shavkat. Fight Bilal. Fight someone along those lines. Somebody else maybe I'm not thinking of. And then we can discuss that. But for right now, you're not close to a title shot, okay? Colby did the same thing. He's fighting for the title. What it should be in a perfect world, we should be getting Leon versus Bilal. Colby versus Burns or Shavkat. And then we'd have to figure out something for the odd man out, But unfortunately, it looks like Colby's getting a title shot. Moving on down the card, we're going to try to go through a little bit faster because we're already almost 40 minutes in this stream. Moving down the card, Rob Font versus Adrian Yanez. His name is actually pronounced Yanez, but The UFC's calling him Yanez. I'm going to call him Yanez. I'm tired of seeing comments. You're mispronouncing his name. But what a win for Rob Font. Rob Font gets it done. First round KO. I picked Rob Font by decision. I thought it was too much too soon for Yanez. I thought he had a chance to finish Font. Font's getting up there in age, taking a lot of damage, but I thought Font was the superior striker. It was a crazy fight while it lasted. And it only lasted, where did it end at? Let's take a look real quick. 2 minutes and 57 seconds. We only got a little over half a round. Both guys landed good shots. Font was pumping the jab. Font, I think, landed an uppercut to start the finish. And starts swarming him, landing him with right hands. Then he landed the nastiest right hand, dropped Yanez. And then he was basically out when he hit the canvas. He was still kind of there. Font followed up with one big ground and pound shot. He was out cold, and Keith Peterson was just smoking a cigarette. And Font beat the living dog shit out of him for another 10 seconds, and then Keith Peterson finally stepped in and waved his little hands. Too much too soon for Yanez. Font, he ate some big shots, though. Yanez looked good. I like what Yanez looked like in this fight. Maybe he was too aggressive. Maybe he thought he was going to find the finish because he lit Rob Font up with some good shots himself. I mean, he busted Rob Font's eye up, landed some good right hands. There were some crazy exchanges, but I think Rob Font was just a little bit more technical, a little bit more conservative. When Yanez, in the exchange, there was one exchange before the finish where you saw Font kind of wading in with a high guard, and Yanez was just throwing crazy hooks, and they were super fast hands, but none of them landed, and he left himself open. And I think that's right before the uppercut landed that started the finish. But great win for Rob Font. Not surprised. I think it was a little bit too much too soon for Yanez. And great win. And I don't know where Rob Font goes from here. Because there's not a lot there. I mean, the bantamweight division is kind of in a weird spot right now. You could put him against Petr Yan. I want to see Petr Yan versus Chito Vera. But Rob Font, maybe he fights Umar Nurmagomedov next. I think he loses that one. But he gets a KO over Yanez and doesn't take 5 rounds of damage. So shout out to him. Great win over an up-and-comer. Send him back to the back of the line. Moving down the card, we have Kevin Holland, Santiago Ponzinibbio. Perfect comparison here, guys. Perfect comparison here. Kevin Holland versus Santiago Ponzinibbio was a poor man's Rob Font versus Chito Vera. Ponzinibbio was winning every single round with leg kicks. First round, great leg kicks. He catches a kick at the end of the round, eats a back fist, gets rocked badly, almost finished, saved by the bell. Lost round 1. Second round, Ponzinibbio winning again, spamming the leg kicks. Holland just backing up. Holland hurts him again towards the end of the round, steals the round. Third round, Ponzinibbio winning again, and this was probably Ponzi, if I remember correctly, this is probably his best round, if I'm not mistaken. Boom. Gets clipped with a massive left hand and brutally finished by Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland gets it done at the end of the third, towards the end of the third round. 3 minutes and 16 seconds into the third round. What did I see here? I seen a Ponzinibbio who's aging, who couldn't close the distance. If Kevin Holland didn't have that reach advantage, I think Ponzinibbio wins this fight. But Kevin Holland has a great reach advantage on him. Height advantage. Kevin Holland is not that good. Okay? He's not that good. People keep hyping him up for some reason. I guess because he has a personality. But this fight didn't impress me. He got a nice finish, and he had those big damaging moments that stole him the rounds. But when you're having a close fight with 37-year-old Ponzinibbio who was just losing to Alex Morono, Kevin Holland's just going to be a gatekeeper for the top 15 for the rest of his life at welterweight, and he's never going to have success at middleweight. I did like his call out after the fight. He said, "Jorge, if you still want to fight after Gilbert whoops your ass, I want to fight you." And I think that's a fight that makes sense right now. Even though Jorge retired, it could happen down the line. I doubt it happens. Jorge's going to go box or some shit like that if he doesn't retire, actually. But I'm not super impressed with Kevin Holland's performance. He had an 8-inch reach advantage. Without that, I think he's losing the fight. And dude's leg was getting brutally chopped. And, without those big moments, we're talking about a completely different fight. Moving down the card, Raul Rosas Jr. versus Christian Rodriguez. My only bad pick for the night, really. I believe. My only bad pick for the night. Christian Rodriguez weathers the early storm. Raul Rosas Jr. all over him in the first round. Gets his back. Gets the body triangle. Relentless with the takedown attempts. Rodriguez was doing well early, defending. Raul ends up on his back. They end up standing. He's looking for a rear naked. It's getting close. Rodriguez defending well. Makes it out of the first round, but gets dominated. 10-9 in the first round. Raul didn't do a whole lot of damage, but constantly controlling him in the grappling and looking for the rear naked choke. Second round, and I could see this coming a mile away when I'm watching the fight. Second round, Raul slows down. The takedowns are getting stuffed. And then Rodriguez stuffs the takedown, ends up on top, and just dominates him on the ground, beats him up, lands some good shots. Third round, similar scenario. Raul just trying to look for the takedowns. Unable to find them. At one point, Rodriguez got his back in the third round, controlled him, was throwing massive elbows to the side of the head, beating him up, controlling him, looking for his own finishes in the third round. Clear 29-28 win for Christian Rodriguez. And this is the problem when you give an 18-year-old a shot in the UFC. He beat Che Perrin, fine. But he's so young, and now he's 18 years old. He just took a decent amount of damage in this fight because he took some big elbows from Rodriguez. Really had no striking. I think Raul has absolutely no striking, if you ask me. Has no fight IQ. And I just think at this point, the UFC did him a disservice letting him into the UFC this early. The hype train has died. Christian Rodriguez should absorb some of it. But I don't even think Christian Rodriguez is going to have a whole lot of success in the bantamweight division. It's just too stacked. It's too stacked. Raul Rosas Jr. talking about 3 championships. He's too young. He's too dumb. Because of his age. I'm not saying he's, actually dumb, but because of his age, he's just too dumb. And, he blew his wad looking to grapple, looking for submissions. He wasn't able to find them, and it cost him big time, and he has no striking. Super one-dimensional, got exposed by Christian Rodriguez. Moving down the card, Kelvin Gastelum versus Chris Curtis. Amazing fight, one of the best fights on the card. We had Kelvin Gastelum win via decision. This was a close fight. And I think it was closer than most people act. And I know that a lot of people are going to call me biased in this one. Live, I scored the first round for Kelvin. He was landing leg kicks. Curtis landed a couple good shots, but Kelvin was looking fast. His hands were looking fast. He was landing 1-2s and landing good calf kicks, and I think Curtis lost the first round. Second round was a similar scenario, but Curtis was way more active. Ripping to the body, moving forward, landing some combinations. It was a very close fight. I had it for Chris Curtis early. Then there was a headbutt. And then Chris Curtis ended up on the ground, turtled up. Gastelum threw some shots, but they were mostly blocked. But Curtis wasn't moving for like 20 seconds. Barely moving. And then he gets back to the feet, survives. Close round to end it. And Curtis was being super aggressive, throwing body shots, throwing combinations, landing some of them. Gastelum still chopping the legs. In second round, I think without the headbutt and the exchange on the ground where he's just turtled up for 30 seconds, I probably give it to Chris Curtis. I think the second round probably goes to Chris Curtis, but you don't know the way the judges are looking at it. Third round, I thought it was clear Chris Curtis. Thought he landed better shots. He was ripping to the body, landing upstairs. A lot of Kelvin Gastelum shots were hitting the forearms. So I do see a scenario where you do 29-28 for Curtis, but I just think that headbutt in the second round cost him the second round and cost him the fight. But overall, I think both guys' stock went up. I don't think either guy looked particularly bad. Kelvin Gastelum coming back after a long layoff. Curtis, say what you will about Curtis' skill set, because I think a lot of people kind of say, oh, he's not that good and he's old and this and that. He's a very good fighter and he's a tough matchup for everybody. Super defensively responsible, good takedown defense. Kelvin Gastelum shot in on a couple takedowns. But essentially in this fight, what won Gastelum in this fight was the leg kicks. He was able to just spam low kicks over and over and over again and chew up that lead leg of Curtis. And it affected his movement a little bit. and I think that's what won him the fight. He landed some good shots on the feet. I didn't have a problem 29-28 either way, but overall it was a great fight. Moving down the card, Luana Pinheiro versus Michelle Waterson-Gomez. A brutal robbery. Michelle Waterson was rocking her with front kicks. A lot of punching air. I don't have a great recollection of this fight just because, it's been a bit since, we've absorbed a lot tonight. I scored at 30-27 for Waterson, okay? And I think there was one round you could have maybe gave to Luana. Waterson was hitting her with front kicks over and over and over again. Pinheiro was landing good calf kicks, but that's about all she was really landing. She landed a couple good punches on the feet. Waterson-Gomez, I don't even know. I just want to keep calling her just Waterson. She won this fight, and she was robbed brutally on the scorecards, and I think most people can agree with me on that one. Joe Pyfer versus Gerald Meerschaert. Joe Pyfer brutally finishes Gerald Meerschaert with a right cross. 3 minutes and 15 seconds into the first round. Gerald's just too slow. He's just a stepping stone for the up-and-coming guys. He's just a stepping stone for the up-and-coming guys. That's all he is. I feel bad to say that. That is all he is. I don't know how much longer, he's going to... I don't know if he's going to... be able to continue on in the UFC for much longer. I mean, he's just kind of the guy that they give new guys to look good against. And Gerald Meerschaert has pulled off some victories, the Bruno Silva victory. But I just think he's done for. Moving down the card, we'll just go through every fight since we're already close to it. Lupita Godinez, Cynthia Calvillo. Cynthia Calvillo just punching air. The UFC commentary was horrible tonight, acting like she won. Lupi was landing the better shots, the more powerful shots. Calvillo was landing on nothing but air and forearms for the majority of the fight. And Lupita Godinez just leaping in, landing better power shots. She won the fight. I think I scored at 30-27 for her. Calvillo getting up there in age. I can't believe they main evented her a couple years ago against Jessica Ai. Disgusting. And Lupita Godinez gets the decision win. It was a split to win. Moving down the card, Ignacio Bahamondes, Trey Ogden. Ignacio Bahamondes just lit him up on the feet. The superior striker landed the better shots and wins via decision and really was never in trouble the entire fight. By the way, guys, I'm almost done the card. If you guys have any questions, put them in the chat right now. Put some question marks with them so I can easily find them. I would greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat right now and I will get to them in a second. Make sure to like the stream and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We're about to get the questions. But, yeah, Ignacio Bahamondes just outstruck him and won a decision. Fight before that, Steve Garcia versus Nuerdanbieke. I hated Nuerdanbieke's performance in this fight. I picked him to win this one. I thought he'd win by decision. Boy, was that a horrible pick. He hurt him badly and then just laid in his guard. Never even really looked for the finish. Steve Garcia was rocked badly. And then, after Garcia got up in the first round, it looked like Nuerdanbieke was exhausted. He landed good shots towards the end of the first round. And I said, when I'm streaming the fight card, I literally said, Steve Garcia will finish him in the second round, guaranteed. He went out there, landed an uppercut to the body, hurt him badly, swarmed him with shots. Nuerdanbieke just fell to the ground like he had been hit by a sniper. And then just laid there in a fetal position, getting brutally ground and pound out by Steve Garcia. Good win for Steve Garcia. Nuerdanbieke, horrible in the first round. Dude hurt him badly, never even looked for the finish. He deserved to lose. And then moving down the card, first fight on the card, Sam Hughes versus Jacqueline Amorium. It looked like Jacqueline was going to get the first round sub. She got her down, had tight rear naked chokes multiple times. Rogan insisted that it was over on multiple occasions. Oh, it's over. She's got it. She's got it. She's got it. She didn't get it. And then she was tired in the second round. And she got out-grappled and outstruck. And then the same thing in the third round. And she lost via 29-28 unanimous decision. It's probably the worst fight on the card, to be honest. Overall, I went 7-5 tonight. But I don't feel horrible about it. Rosas Jr. almost got it done in the first round. I mean, that's a bit of a stretch. Curtis could have won without the headbutt. Waterson-Gomez was robbed. Nuerdanbieke gave up his loss. I feel like with a perfect night outside, the only bad pick I don't like is the Rosas Jr. fight. I should never picked an 18-year-old. I should never picked an 18-year-old. That's the only pick I don't like. You know, looking back in retrospect, looking at my picks, every prediction video I did, except Chris Curtis and Raul Rosas Jr., I got right. So I think I did 7 prediction videos, which means I did detailed research. I went 5 and 7 tonight. And the pick of the night for me was I picked Israel Adesanya second round KO. And, yeah, I mean, hell of a night, hell of a pick. That's the legendary pick on the channel for me. I literally, if you go watch my prediction video, I broke it down exactly how the main event went, and I couldn't be happier with that. And it was awesome. It was awesome. And Adesanya pulled it off. So I'm going to get to questions now. If you guys have questions, start spamming the chat. If you want to steal your mom's credit card and donate $500 via Super Chat, feel free to. Then your question will definitely get read. Let me take a drink real quick, and then we're going to get into questions. So fill the chat with questions. We're probably going to go for about an hour and 15 maybe. I'm literally losing my voice because I've been streaming for essentially 8 hours tonight, okay? For your guys' pleasure, my throat is destroyed. Pause. All right, let's get to some questions. Let's see what I missed. I'm going to try to read through some of the chat I missed. Izzy versus Costa 2. That's a possibility in the future. Pereira versus Whitaker for #1 contender. I don't mind that. If Hamzat can't take Izzy down, he's screwed. Agreed. I would pick Izzy in a Hamzat fight. Duplessis, the real African champ. Okay, that makes no sense, but all right. Because he's not a champ. Masvidal really told people to bet the house on him. I know. Dude was yeah, I don't know. I don't think Hamzat could keep Izzy down. I don't believe either. Jorge's post-fight interview about politics was cringe. Dude cares more about politics than the fight game. Shit's annoying. Why does everyone push Costa so much he struggles to beat Luke Rockhold in his last fight? I don't know, because he's got an interesting online persona. That's the only thing I can go with. It's not a narrative considering the last time Adesanya finished. Okay, I don't care about that. I don't think Hamzat could keep Izzy down. Agreed. If Hamzat can't take Izzy down, Robert, Marvin, and Alex took Izzy down. Hamzat def will take him down. Okay, we'll see. That's an interesting fight. MMA Now guy got rated not too long ago. Picked Izzy. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. I know what you're talking about. We rated him last night. Best body locks in MMA. Gilbert Burns. Yeah, dude, he got the body lock. I meant to mention that. He got the body lock in the second round. Just dominated him from there. Hamzat def could keep Izzy down. Okay, maybe not. It's hard to say. I love Izzy. He just needs to stay away from Hamzat. He got his title back. I want Izzy to pass Silva's record. That's going to be very tough. That's going to be very tough. And by the way, let's talk about this real quick. I forgot to talk about it in the beginning of the stream. Izzy taunting. I told you guys he was going to do that too. He was going to KO him and then he was going to taunt him. Dude started shooting arrows at the dead corpse of Pereira. Look, I'm not a big fan. I swear it feels like I got a hair in my mouth, but I don't. I'm not a big fan of taunting fighters after they get KO'd. I'm not a fan of it at all. But I'm not going to sit here and clutch my pearls ever, over a taunting like that. Especially when you have the fact, let's remember what Pereira did to Adesanya when he KO'd him. Dude got in his face while he was KO'd. Got in his face and was taunting him. Which I thought was worse, in my opinion. So people cry. If anybody's crying about that, I don't wish to hear that at all. But let me know what you guys think. Masvidal showed up for a paycheck. Agreed. Hamzat's not a big threat to Izzy. I think he could be. Jorge's done. Like, even his chin wasn't the same. Yeah, dude got rocked by Burns on multiple occasions. I'm just so glad that Jorge lost, because Ariel Helwani would have showed up on Monday and he would have been promoting Jorge for a finish or for a title shot, which would have been crazy. Dude, I still can't believe what happened tonight. It was crazy. That picture of Izzy shooting at the dead corpse is crazy too. I knew he was going to have a lot of emotion if he won this fight. I knew it. Ariel needs to be arrested for dumb ideas. Agreed. Ariel just wants the UFC to be WWE. I agree. And dude's acting like they're the same now. Jorge looked good in the first. No, he didn't. But he looked okay in the first. Yanez ego challenged, and he paid for it. That he did. I said it, man. I like Yanez, but he's too wild and defensively flawed. It was a crazy fight, though. At first, it looked like Yanez was going to stop him. I agree. It looked crazy at first. So far, best card of the year. Without thinking about it too hard, I'm going to say yes. I don't think Alex ever wins against Izzy after this. Izzy was completely focused on this, and I'm sure he will beat to prove a point. Alex never eats Izzy ever again. Yeah, I think so. Izzy just talked about fighting Dricus du Plessis in UFC South Africa. No. No. I wouldn't doubt it. If Izzy wants to stay busy, dude, the UFC would feed him Dricus. And he's going to smash Dricus badly. You know what he would do to Dricus? Oh, my God. If I'm Izzy, that's the fight I'm campaigning for myself, to be quite honest. But I don't like that at all. No, I'll criticize that until I'm blue in the face. Izzy said the rivalry is settled, so it's time to fight fresh blood. Can't wait to see who. I knew he was going to say that. I mean, he did it better. He did do it better. He said it in the lead up. What if I do it better than he's ever done it? And he did. He did it better than he's ever done it. Raul needs to change to coaches. Yeah, because his dad. Yeah. Who does Israel fight next? I hope Hamzat Chimaev. Hamzat Chimaev is the fight to make. What gym should Raul change to? I don't know. Maybe Fortis MMA. Maybe Trevor Whitman. Team Elevation. Bro, the fact people were saying Alex was winning before the KO. Like, Izzy clearly won round 1. It wasn't even close. Round 2 was even before the KO. I actually thought round 1 was close, but I thought Adesanya got it. But Pereira kind of started to come on strong at the end of the first, so it kind of gave people a little bit of a bias. Second round, the first 3.5 minutes, Adesanya was clearly winning. And then Pereira started to kind of put it on the last 30 seconds before the finish with leg kicks. But I get your point. Of course, that's going to be the narrative. That's going to be the narrative for sure. Guys, do me a favor. We got over 150 people in the chat. Can you do me a favor? Everyone like the stream. Hit the thumbs up button. It helps promote this video in the algorithm. When I do these live streams, a lot of people aren't clicking on an hour video after the fact. So if you guys could help promote it, I would greatly appreciate it. Why is Raul Rosas in the UFC? Is clearly not a finished product because the UFC just wanted to promote him. Leon versus Burns, Colby versus Shavkat, Usman versus Bilal. Sign me up. I'll take it all. Even though Burns doesn't necessarily deserve a title shot. Imagine, man, Alex moves up to 205, wins a title, and as he moves up, that'd be craziness. The dead corpse of Pereira. That's what it looked like tonight. If you watch my reaction at all. Dude, what a sick edit somebody made. What a sick edit. I gotta go post this in the Discord. Boom. What a sick edit. That's craziness. He exacts his revenge. Man, Pereira slipped up. Had Izzy frozen like Elsa. Dude, Izzy froze him like Elsa. Finish. You might just go up and wait. Were you sad when Jorge retired? I was, because it was an end of an era. He was an OG that never faked his personality like Colby. Yes, a little bit sad. Just because it was an end of an era. But Jorge's become super annoying. That KO was straight up disturbing. Agreed. Masvidal would be fun. No, don't say that. The KO was pure luck. Clipped him twice in the ear. Yeah, it was pure luck. He's done it. He clipped him there 3 times now. That's the dumbest take I've heard. Joey, how many fights? Great. Jump down. Joey, how many fights has he got to win to be middleweight GOAT? Because I think he's nearly there, and I like Anderson Silva. I'll say 3 more. Is he acting like he was playing possum, but he was clearly hurt from what? What was he hurt from? If anything, his legs were hurt, and that's it. I want Izzy to show off his boxing more like he did in this fight. His hands are low-key better than his kicks. Dude, his hands were looking phenomenal tonight. Joe, what do you think of happens to Raul Rosas Jr. next? I think that they give him an easy matchup next. Round 1 was close for Izzy, but those leg kicks were really going to add up on Izzy. I agree. The momentum in the bottom of the second round, or the last 30 seconds before the finish, I guess, is the best way to say it. The momentum was shifting to Poatan, okay? But Izzy shifted it right back with a right hand right on the ear. I thought Alex edged both rounds. So you scored round 2 where he got brutally slept out cold. You edged that for him? What, 10-9 with his unconscious body? That's bizarre, Bishop. How did Izzy do it better than Alex? Alex flatlined him in the past, and Izzy flatlined him this time, so they both have a brutal KO. Kickboxing doesn't count. Kickboxing is irrelevant, especially when it's from 6 and 7 years ago. But Izzy got Alex because he got greedy. That he did. Who's next for Poatan? If he stays at middleweight, I hope they book him up with Dreykus or Whitaker. If he goes to 205, give him a contender. Maybe the Anthony Smith, Johnny Walker winner. If Johnny Walker wins, give Alex Pereira, Johnny Walker. And if he beats Johnny Walker, give him a title shot maybe, depending on the division. How does Pereira come back from that? I don't know if he ever will. I don't know if he ever will. Let's see. I don't know if he ever... I mean, that is a nasty KO loss. What do you think? I already read that. After he rope-a-doped him in the cage, all 3 of Izzy's shots landed exactly. Everyone slept on Rob Font. I knew Yanez's defense was terrible. I've been calling it in your chat all week. I didn't sleep on him. Oh, before the knockout. I need you to go back and watch that second round. I watched it twice before I even got on stream here. The first 4 minutes, Izzy clearly won. There was a moment where the momentum started to shift with the leg kicks. First 4 minutes, Izzy was clearly winning it. Never been KO'd before? I don't know. I think he got leg kick KO'd at some point. Somebody told me, I think. That'd be hilarious. Johnny Walker's brain doesn't deserve it. Dude, Poatan would sleep Johnny Walker badly. In my humble opinion. Oh, when Izzy fell on the ground, he pointed at... I'm done. He pointed at Alex Pereira's son and fell down. Well, Alex Pereira's son's old enough now. He can handle it. He's got to be like 16 at this point. I like it. I like it. I'm happy with it. People are going to complain about it. Yeah, I'm never a big fan of taunting, but come on, man. A knockout is a knockout. How it happens is irrelevant because it's happened in kickboxing. Dude, it's a different sport. It's irrelevant to the sport, and it was years ago, okay? MMA is different. Dude, he looked like he was like 10 years old 7 years ago. So I don't know. If someone could look up his age, regardless, you know, I don't mind it. I don't mind that one. A knockout. Okay, the problem with Alex is his chin because he cuts too much weight. Joey, Alex walks around at 235. I don't know if he walks around at 235, but the weight cut definitely doesn't help. I don't think Alex will do well at 205. Those guys hit harder than Izzy. Yeah, dude, it could be the end. Could be the end for Alex Pereira. Sorry I had to spam you for you to read. Disregard the next 5. Okay. 16-year-old can't handle it right. Yeah, his son is less than 10. There's no way his son is less than 10, dude. His son was like at least 7 years ago. Let's look it up. Someone find it out. Let's see. I don't see anything about his son, personal life. Try. Yeah, I don't find anything about his son. What's his son's age? I can't find it. I'm looking for it, but I don't see it. Yeah, his son's at least like 16. I don't really care either way. Unless he was a little kid, it doesn't matter. Okay, where are we at? There's no way his son's less than 10, though. But we're moving on. I don't care anyway. You have double the viewers watching than Lynch had post-fight? I'm taking over? All right. I'm not... Hey, man. It is what it is. If people enjoy watching, they enjoy watching. If you build it, they will come, I guess. So I'm happy to have you guys here talking fights. Let me know in the chat right now, yes or no, do you guys love the live post-fight format, or do you prefer the videos after the fact? I usually do the videos kind of on different topics afterwards, but let me know how you feel about them. The taunt to his kid was warranted. I don't care. It must have been very satisfying to do that. Yeah, I'm never a big fan of taunting, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to clutch my pearls. It doesn't hurt anyone. Alex could come back from that KO, but UFC must give him an opponent he could beat to build his confidence back up. Losing to Izzy's not bad because Izzy's one of the best. Agreed. Okay, where are we at? It's called Sweet Revenge. I get it, he's a kid, but still remember. Yeah, I don't care. Unless he was like 3 years old and Izzy's like smacking him around, which wasn't even close to what happened. I don't mind at all. I do not mind at all. Okay. Jorge looked terrible. He ended his career as a dead corpse. Agreed. If he dies, he dies. I think it's the amount of years that passed that's more relevant because they literally just kickboxed. Nobody tried to wrestle. FBI outside of Joey's home. I don't get it. What that means. Yeah, I think Alex would have an issue with Jamal. Yeah. Let's go, Joey. Do you remember when I was in your lives all week long saying Izzy was going to stop it, predicted round 3? You predicted it spot on. Yes, I do, Secret Juice. Thank you for backing me up, bro. Like, literally nobody, almost, I don't want to say nobody, but almost nobody was picking Izzy, and people were calling me dumb for picking Izzy by stoppage. So, appreciate you backing me up. I do remember you riding with me. But yeah, I predicted it spot on, dude. And the analysis and the breakdown of the fight, how I thought it was going to go, was exactly how it went. Oh, Archie, thank you for the $2 super chat. I appreciate you. I love the live post-fight, man. Appreciate you. Well, you condone a 30-year-old man taunting a child. It depends the age of the child. But yes, I do. I do condone that, you know. If he's 16 years old, dude, he can handle being taunted, all right? Just like I'm sure he'd be taunting it if, you know, he did. It's not like dude went up and smacked him around. Calm down. When Izzy lost in Brazil in kickboxing, Alex mocked him and Alex's son mocked him too. I know, I saw it. Live over recorded. That's what's funny. He trolled him while his dad was still knocked out. Yeah, I mean, I feel for him. The kid is probably upset, but it is what it is. You reap what you sow. Boom. But dude's making it sound way worse than it is. Make some... I can't even say it. My throat hurts. Dude, I thought Pereira might die. The way he went out, that was the scary part. Now, if Izzy did all those taunts and like Pereira had died or something, dude, that'd be the end of Izzy's career. Well, Izzy did win at all 70 minutes besides 2. There you go. Izzy won the first one. Izzy was winning the second one and got stopped. Izzy was winning the third one and got stopped. And now he won the fourth one. Don't forget his son clowned him in his recent fight. Oh, it was the recent fight too. I didn't know that. Thank you, O Archie, for the $2 donor. I never even read the message. Where does Rob Whitaker? I misread Rob Font. Where does Rob Whitaker fit into all this? Maybe he fights Pereira for #1 contender spot. I think that makes sense. Izzy was the favorite. He wasn't the favorite among fans. I'll tell you that much, dude. Everyone was picking against him. But I see you're probably it seems like you're a little bit biased towards Poatan. They're gonna feed Duplessis to Bo Nickel after Trey Gore. Nah, I doubt it. I sent you a video of his son tonight. He looks around 13 and 14. Let me take a look. It's hard to tell. I mean, you can't even see him here. But yeah, I mean, I feel for him. His dad lost, but calm down, dude. Dude glowed it in the dude's face. I have absolutely no problem with it. I will die on that hill. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'm not a biggest fan. I don't like people taunting, especially when you KO someone like that, because their health is deeply affected by that. But I'm not going to clutch my pearls. You know, we're watching grown men knock each other out cold. And we're gonna cry about a little bit of taunting. Also, Alex brought it back up, sneak this and Izzy by reposting that clip of his son mocking him going into their first fight. Okay. Oh, Izzy's definitely hyper in tune with what's going on online and the criticism that goes on online. Love the videos, Joey. Thank you, Landry Kaiser. I appreciate it. Pereira's a great kickboxer, but a subpar mixed martial artist. I think Pereira might be one of the most overrated fighters ever. As crazy as that sounds, I still think he's good. But, yeah. We need a trilogy. I don't think we need. Suffering a mental breakdown as we speak. Okay. They say Alex is humble. Nah, he just doesn't know English. Maybe. And witness this breakdown live. Okay. Go ahead. Switch on over. Robert Whitaker screwed. He ain't getting no title shot. Yeah. Probably. But maybe. Maybe we'll see. You can say what you want, but you reap what you sow. Exactly, Joey. The kid should have never done that, and he did it over and over again, too. And Alex or the mother didn't scold him. He should know better. Look, I'm not going to blame the kid for what he did. Okay, he's just a kid. He doesn't know what he's doing exactly. But, yeah, there's parenting that come into effect there. But also, I'm not going to cry about what Izzy did either. You know, he got his retribution. That shit was bugging him. He got his retribution. And he slept his dad out cold and then dropped to the canvas like a maniac. So I have no problem with it. If you're crying about a taunt in MMA, stop watching the sport. Go watch WWE. Something like that. You know, go watch something fake. Because the thing is, these dudes are literally jeopardizing their long-term health, and you're worried about a dude taunting. The video was November of last year. Okay, fair enough. So he's probably like 15, 16. People are saying he's under 10 years old. Cry me a river. To be honest, I wouldn't clutch my pearls. I wouldn't clutch my pearls if he was 10. I wouldn't clutch my pearls if he was 8. I don't care. I don't care. You know what I mean? It's irrelevant. He didn't do it. He can't drop to the ground in celebration. He's not allowed to drop. Like, how stupid is that? Think about that. Yeah, he's a grown man. He's not allowed to drop in a cage. Well, Pereira did the same thing 10 seconds before. He dropped to the cage lifeless. So, I'm just correcting you. That's all. He was the betting favorite and favorite on UFC's Instagram polls and other channels' MMA polls. Also beefing over a little child is insane. Dude, you're a fucking crybaby. You're a crybaby. And Pereira was definitely the true favorite in this fight. I don't care about betting. I don't care about the betting odds. I don't care about any of that horse shit. Everyone, 70%, in my opinion, of the actual MMA community who was picking the fight was picking Pereira. I don't want to diss Alex, but he is one-hit wonder. We should thank the UFC for booking him a favorite style matchup to get him to the top. Probably. Can confirm he had a breakdown. Why did he have a breakdown? Izzy's taunts are spiritual. There's a different purpose in his response to his victory. Yeah. I have no problem. People are going to cry about it. I knew the haters of Izzy are going to come out in full force. And it's going to be glorious. I'm just drinking all those tears. Look. Here, look, in this container right here, I got all of Israel Adesanya's haters' tears right now. And damn, do they taste good. Damn, do they taste good. Who agrees with me in the chat? Who agrees with me in the chat right now? Do you feel like, forget about betting odds, do you feel like Adesanya was the underdog going into this fight? Because I personally do. Let me know how you guys feel. Yes or no. Even whatever side you were on picking, let me know how you felt going into this fight. He had nerds and virgin tears. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. I don't even know why I closed this up. I could go for some more of those tears. Yes, 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 yes. Also, yeah, it felt like Pereira, everyone was acting like Pereira was definitely going to win. Dude got slept out cold. And these people are just crying and crying and crying and crying and crying. So I had my most legendary pick on the channel. Broke down the fight exactly how it went. Every channel I went to was favoring Alex. Yeah, I didn't really watch too many channels, but people told me, people were telling me basically, I got Pereira. Like I asked the chat before the fight even started, and it was like 90%. My God, you did, man. Thank you, Super Chalmers. All right, let's ask another question in the chat. Do you care? Hold on, let me phrase it in a good way. Do you care that no, hold on. Do you think Israel Adesanya taunting Alex Pereira's child is disrespectful? Or are you upset about it? Do you care about it? Do you care that Israel Adesanya taunted the child? Yes would mean you would be like, it's terrible, I didn't want him to do it. No would be like, you don't care, okay? Do you care, yes or no? No, this was tribal. Nah. So I must be living in an echo chamber right now. Yeah, it seems like no. Exactly, dude. I guess the person complaining about it, he wants flags thrown for end zone celebrations. Ask the chat if it's moral. Dude, a man falling to the ground, if it's moral, who cares? I don't care if Pereira's son did it. I don't care if Adesanya did it. So, yeah, I don't care one way or another. I don't care if Adesanya, if the kid never did it to Adesanya and Adesanya did it to kid. I mean, again, it wouldn't be a good look. I'm not a fan of taunting, but to clutch your pearls over it. So, yeah. I'm not going to lie. Everything Izzy does is cringy. But the arrow shit at the dead body, oh my God, that was crazy. How do you know he was having a traumatic experience? You don't know that. Now you're just making up stuff. Dude, the way Pereira got slept. Dude literally got frozen like Elsa. That was the coldest. Yeah. All right, at least we can agree on that. At least we can agree on that. Oh my God, dude. Adesanya calling out Dreykus is horrible to me. Do you know what Adesanya would do to Dreykus? Dude, it would be so bad. Pereira got flatlined. Izzy's celebration reminded me of Jorge Masvidal when he KO'd Ben Askren. The arrow taunt was dope. Yeah, dude, that was one of the sickest celebrations I've ever seen. I picked Izzy and it's all about UFC as a business model. I hope it wasn't personal. Yeah, I don't think it was. It seems cringy because it desensitized the way of life. That kid probably has PTSD. Well, hopefully that kid grows up to become a fighter. If he's 14 now, Raul Rosas Jr. is in the UFC at 18. So he's got 4 years. He can join the UFC. He can join the middleweight division. And he can get revenge on 40-year-old Adesanya when Adesanya is a dead body. And then he can taunt him afterwards. Love the celebration. The Adesanya celebration was one of the sickest shit I ever seen. The arrow shit was... And I really don't like that type of stuff usually. And the KO taunt to the child, the way he fell lifelessly... Was that the ref that was in the way there? Was that Big Dan? I can't tell. Dude ruined it. Dude ruined it by getting his arms in the mat. Oh shit! Then he got up with the Rock celebration, the way he put his hands on the mat and then jumped up to his feet. Bring bullying back? Nah. No, in no way upset. Love from Germany. Thank you, Global MMA. Very much. I appreciate you, man. I can't believe it. I can't believe UFC 287 has come and gone. Yeah. If my son can't handle getting pointed at and then somebody dropping to the ground like a dead body, he ain't my son anymore. 3 years away from adulthood. If the ref didn't stop it at the first hammer fist, Alex's career would have been over. Dude, let me go. Let me pull up the finish real quick. Let me go watch the finish again, dude. That shit was sick. Let's go walk through the finish, guys. All right, let's take a look. I'm at 1 minute and 36 seconds. Adesanya was chewing. Adesanya's leg was getting chewed up. He misses. Pereira misses a head kick. Good 1-2 from Adesanya. Adesanya switching stances. Teep to the body that misses. I'm trying to remember how this finishing sequence went now. Because Pereira, up until the 1 minute mark, it was all Adesanya mostly in the second round, in my opinion. There's a left hand from Pereira, big right hand that missed. And now we're getting close to where the leg starts getting chewed up. Pereira starting to walk him down. Boom, leg kick. Kind of stumbles Adesanya. Goes after him a little bit. Adesanya backs up. Switching stances. Body kick from Adesanya. Right hand to the body. Then a leg kick from Pereira. Pereira starts swarming him against the fence. Gets careless. Adesanya shells up. Right hand. Boom. Dude. And then he just started shooting arrows. Dude, Pereira got overconfident. He came in. I wish I could watch this in slow-mo. He hurt the leg. He comes upstairs with a jab. Right hook to the body that lands. Knee that partially lands. Adesanya blocks a left hook. And after he throws the left hook, Pereira brings down his left hand. He throws the left hook. It gets blocked. He brings it down to throw it again. And while he's bringing that left hook back, because it hit that right hand of Adesanya, the second it hits that right hand and he starts bringing it back, Adesanya begins firing it. That's pretty sick. So it was the left hook that kind of set it up for Adesanya eating that left hook on the forearms. He throws, boom, he loads it up, hurts Pereira badly, lands another right hand, and then a left hand to put him out. I wonder if that left hand even needed to land. I'm trying to watch it and see. So it was the left hook that set up the right hand. And Adesanya was kind of leaning over too. So the first one, okay, the second right hook put Pereira out. So the left hook that landed on the way down and the hammer fist, dude killed him. And then he started shooting the arrows into his dead corpse. I hate that. I'm looking at Usman celebrating in the background. I'm not happy about that. That was sick. Dude, some dude's recording in the arena with a flash. Dude walks over, points to him. And it's Big Damn Ugly out to get in the way like always. Why are you following around? Dude was following around because he wanted to be on camera, basically. Dude, Pereira was out for a while. That was a sick KO. I told you guys. I told everyone who would listen. I was confident in Israel Adesanya KO. And I was confident that he would get it done early because of Pereira's overconfidence. And I'm telling you right now, these tears are tasting good. Alex Son's coming for revenge. Best KO I've seen. Adesanya played possum. I mean, I don't know if he necessarily played possum. His leg was definitely, getting chewed up. But, he wasn't really... Pereira just got over aggressive because Adesanya was just backing up. So he kind of lulled him in, set a trap, boom. Is he brutalizing in his head, bouncing off the canvas? Right arm was frozen like I was in the air. I couldn't believe my eyes the way Izzy brutally KO'd Alex and immediately was doing the bow and arrow right over his body. Was so cold. No one can question Izzy anymore. That is true. Headshot dead. There you go. No, stop. What's up, Billy? What's going on? That's craziness. I couldn't be happier about my prediction video. I wonder if it's picked up any views since then. Because people want to go back and see. So, let's take a look. See. Picked up a little bit. Not too much. No trilogy, please, Hamza. I think that's the fight that's going to happen. Guys, we got over 150 people in here. Why do we only have 70 likes? And look, do me a favor. Run up the subscribers. Run up the subscribers right now. If you're not subscribed, go subscribe right now. I know there's got to be people who not subscribe to the channel. I do these live streams for every single UFC card. Okay? Joey, I will never forget how much hate you were getting in the comments after picking Izzy second round KO. They are all silent now. There you go. Yeah, let me look. I took a picture of the chat the other day. Let me read a chat member. I don't want to give them too much attention. But let me see if I can find them. I know I took a picture of the chat. When was this? It was from a member by I don't even care. Your worst take ever will be Izzy winning this fight. You were right with Jones, and I was wrong. But there was another one that was really good that I took a picture of that said I was horrible. This is a horrible pick. You don't know what you're talking about. And sure enough, only one pay-per-view pick wrong in the main event this year, and that was Usman, and that was close fight. So, thank you, WoDP, for the $4.99. Good channel, bro. Good night, y'all. You got a new subscriber. I appreciate the donation, man. I really do appreciate the support. Thank you, WoD. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for the $4.99. I really do appreciate the donation. And I'm happy that you subscribed to the channel. Has anyone else just found the channel from this live stream tonight? I'm curious. That finish was nasty. What a finish tonight, guys. And happy Easter to anyone who celebrates Easter. Because it's Easter right now. Izzy brutalizes a dude on Easter. That's petty as hell. But yeah. UFC 287. Let's see what's live right now. That was nuts. What a night. You know what I forgot to mention? I knew Adesanya was going to win. I was even more confident. I said I was 80% confident in Adesanya going in this fight. But when he came out the headstrong, I knew it was done. Dude came out the headstrong. Yeah. Happy for Izzy. Yes, I did, Joey. Been here for over a year. Appreciate you, Lima Bean. Yo, Joey, who you got in a Covington versus Burns 5 rounds? I don't know. It'd be super close. I'd probably go Burns. I was John from New Mexico. Appreciate you, man. Even though I want to see Hamzat versus Izzy, I don't think it's smart to let him fight Izzy right now. I would let him take a top 5. Yeah, it would kind of make sense. Do you think Alex deserves an immediate rematch? No, absolutely not. So, sharing profit from a $20 bet I won tonight. Thank you, Esteban, for the $4.99. I appreciate you. Thank you for the $4.99, my friend. Esteban Hernandez Greedy. Sharing the profit from his $20 bet. Missed the beginning of your stream, so who do you think is next for Izzy? There's not many options. Probably Hamzat. But Hamzat has to get a win first. Otherwise, he's done for. Or otherwise he doesn't deserve a title shot. But I think it's going to be Hamzat. Let me see what this is. Hold on. Yeah, so I think Izzy will probably end up fighting Hamzat next. I don't think Pereira deserves an immediate rematch. I think people are going to be promoting that. I think that's bad for Pereira's career. You know, if I'm Pereira's friend, if I'm in his corner, I'm like, nah. Just knocked over my water bottle, empty water bottle. I would love to see Hamzat versus Izzy, and I think that does over 1 million buys. I really do think that does over 1 million buys. That'd be sick. So, yeah. But yeah, if you guys go watch my live reaction to the fight card, make sure you comment any timestamps you think are good. There's already like a couple timestamps. But, so, yeah. But it's up on the channel. You can watch all my reaction. You can watch my live reaction to the KO. Hamzat just showed he's weighing 115. I did see that. Yeah, you're right. How do you think Pereira does at 205? I don't think he does great. Izzy did fascinating tonight. That he did. Do you think Adesanya's stuff in the takedown if he fights Khamzat? I think he does, but it's going to be very interesting because Khamzat is relentless. But Izzy has a good takedown defense. Perez kids look pretty... Dude, his kid was like 7 years old, 8 years old, like 7 years ago. So, I don't care one way or another. But Izzy got him done. Izzy dirted him. Gave him a dirt nap, basically. Slept him out cold. Second round. What a night, guys. Tomorrow is a holiday. Hopefully, I will get out at least one video. I'm unsure what video that will be. If you guys would do me a favor, like this stream, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to get out of here in a minute. We went an hour and a half. This is a damn good post-fight. If you weren't here for the entire thing, I recommend going back to the beginning and watching it. And if anybody comments timestamps on this for each fight that I talk about, I will love you forever. So I'm trying to get people to do that more in the future. I got to figure out a way to be able to do it better and get timestamps for myself. But until then, it was a night. It was a good night. It was a good night. We had a lot of fun. The card was excellent. I had some great picks. I had some bad picks, but I don't really feel bad about anything but the Rosas Jr. pick, to be quite honest. So I am going to go to bed. I've been streaming for the last, 8 hours. 8 hours. I have been streaming for the last 8 hours. That is craziness. That is absolutely craziness. But yeah, if you guys have any final questions, throw them in the chat. We're going to go for 2 more minutes or so. And then I'm going to have to check out what's going on with the presser. I'm going to have to check out what's going on with the presser. And then, or any of the news that came from there. Anytime, Izzy won't get ragdolled like Holland, but don't think he'll be able to keep Khamzat off him. Could be the Merab effect. Could be the Merab effect. All right, guys. I'm exhausted. It's 3:10 a.m. Oh, my God. I got to go to sleep. Do me a favor, like the stream, subscribe to the channel. Good night. I appreciate every single one of you. And I will see you guys probably tomorrow in a video at least. So, good night, goodbye, and appreciate you guys for joining me for this UFC 287 post-fight. Does Izzy become the consensus second greatest middleweight of all time? Yes. And that is the note I will leave you on. Good night, goodbye, and enjoy the rest of your night, and enjoy your holiday if you're celebrating it. See you later.